Ever feel like the ground beneath us is shifting faster than we can blink? China's infrastructure leap isn't just about building bigger. It's about rethinking what's possible. Imagine bridges snapped together like toys, or wind turbines floating like giant lilies. Sounds wild, right? Stick around, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. You won't want to miss the next wave of mind-blowing tech. Workers in Chongqing are doing something incredible. They are piecing together a massive high-speed railway bridge using giant, pre-made blocks. Think of it like playing with huge Lego bricks. But these blocks weigh tons. Prefabricated bridge segments get made at a factory first. Then, powerful machines lift them carefully into place. This clever trick speeds up the whole process. It also makes the job much safer for everyone on site. A colossal bridge just clicked together over the Yangtze River. This is no ordinary crossing. It stretches 1,549 meters from shore to shore, with a main span alone of 890 meters, a staggering distance that makes it the world's biggest steel-UHPC composite girder cable-stayed bridge. The final piece, a steel box weighing as much as a dozen buses, 148 tons, was hoisted into place with insane precision, easing into its slot with barely a centimeter to spare. For pedestrians and cyclists, the bridge includes wide paths on both sides, a thoughtful touch that gives local folks a safe, scenic way to cross. But here is the real story. This bridge connects Beilizhou Island to the mainland. For thousands of years, the island's people had only boats, no roads, no bridges, just the relentless flow of the Yangtze separating them from everything else. Imagine that isolation. Around 100,000 people live there, their ancestors farming and fishing the same shores for generations. Once this cable-stayed bridge opens, everything changes. Children can reach better schools in minutes instead of hours. Down in Guangxi, a massive water highway is nearly done. The Pinglu Canal stretches 134 kilometers through rugged terrain, carving a direct path from the Xizang River system to the sea. It is a key piece of China's new Western Land-Sea Corridor, a strategic network designed to slash shipping times and costs for the country's inland provinces. Workers just finished installing colossal metal structures at 3 major shipping hubs, each one a giant staircase for boats. These locks lift vessels up and down the natural hills step by step, overcoming a total drop of nearly 65 meters. At the Modular hub, the last set of shiplock gates was recently connected, a milestone years in the making. Right now, the overall project is 95% complete. The waterway itself is 93% finished. Parts of it are already moving boats and tests, sending barges through channels that were solid earth just months ago. This river-sea corridor will link the Xizang River directly to the Beibu Gulf, opening a clean, straight shot to the ocean. That is huge for trade. Boats from Guangxi, Yunnan, Guizhou, and other southwestern provinces can now reach ASEAN markets faster and cheaper than ever, bypassing crowded, meandering routes that once added days of travel. Out in the waters off Yangtze, something unusual just took its place. It is the world's largest single-unit floating offshore wind turbine. They call it Three Gorges Pilot. It can produce 16 megawatts of power. That is enough to light up thousands of homes. The turbine's blades sweep an area as big as 7 soccer fields. Its tip reaches over 270 meters high. But here's the cool part. It does not stand on the seabed. It floats. A semi-submersible platform holds it up. The platform is 91 meters wide and weighs over 24,000 tons. 9 suction anchors keep it from drifting away. Special polyester fiber cables act like giant rubber bands. They stretch and absorb wave energy. Engineers built a new mooring system just for this job. China just started its first offshore carbon capture and storage demo. The location is an old gas field called Dongfang, 1-to-1. It has been pumping gas since 2003, but now it has a second life. Engineers will trap over 1 million tons of carbon dioxide every year. Then they will inject it deep underground, way beneath the ocean floor. This is not just hiding the bad stuff. The CO2 also helps push out more natural gas. Think of it as killing two birds with one stone. You clean the air and get more fuel. The greenhouse gas reduction potential is massive. For years, that CO2 just floated up into the sky. Now it gets captured, purified, and shoved back where it came from. The process turns a waste product into a useful tool. China is the world's biggest importer of natural gas, so squeezing every last drop from old fields makes perfect sense. High up on a wind turbine, a young engineer is checking wires. His name does not matter. What matters is the job. He climbs hundreds of meters above the sea. The wind howls. The tower sways. But he stays calm. Most people think fixing wind turbines is all outside work, but the real trouble hides inside the blades. Tiny signal glitches can shut everything down. The alarm trips, but by the time you climb up, the machine looks fine. So you have to check every single wire, every connection. It is like finding a needle in a haystack. The boat ride out is rough. First-timers get dizzy and sick. But for him, it is just Tuesday. They use a special trolley with a camera to scan inside the blades. It moves along and sends back images. This kind of offshore wind maintenance requires nerves of steel and careful teamwork. One wrong move, and someone could get hurt. But these young professionals keep going. They are the unsung heroes of green energy workforce. Without them, those beautiful spinning blades would just stop, and the clean power would fade away. Huizhou Island has been lonely for a long time. For decades, it ran on dirty diesel and gas generators. Power cuts were common. Life was hard, but not anymore. A new 220 kilovolts cross-sea power grid project just went live. It cost about 858 million yuan. Now the island is linked to the mainland grid. Power supply jumped from 35,000 kilowatts to 161,000 kilowatts. That is a massive upgrade. Clean energy from the Beibu Gulf wind farms can now flow directly to the island. Carbon dioxide emissions will drop by around 43,000 tons each year. Another big carbon injection project just broke ground in Hainan. It is at the same Dongfang 1-to-1 gas field. But this time, the goal is different. Engineers will build 2 new platforms and an undersea pipeline. They will capture carbon dioxide right at the source. Then they will pump it back into the gas reservoirs. That pressure pushes out natural gas that was stuck, hard to reach, almost impossible to get. Until now. This is enhanced gas recovery in action. It turns a waste gas into a tool. The old way was to send the CO2 to onshore plants for cleaning. Now, they do it all at sea. That saves energy and money. In Hainan, a giant metal dome just rose into the sky. It weighed 821 tons. That is heavier than a fully loaded jumbo jet. But no crane lifted it. Air did the job. Workers used pneumatic lifting technology. They sealed the tank and pumped in air. The pressure gently raised the dome 43 meters high. That is about 15 stories. Engineers watched every millimeter on digital screens. The dome had to line up perfectly with the tank's walls. The allowed mistake? Less than 2 millimeters. That is thinner than a coin. The dome now sits on top of a new liquefied natural gas storage tank. It is part of the Hainan LNG Phase 2 project. The world's first methanol dual-fuel container ship is complete. It is called OOCL Wisdom, and it is a monster. Nearly 400 meters long, over 60 meters wide. It can hold 24,168 standard shipping containers. That is a floating city of cargo. But here is the breakthrough. It runs on methanol, or regular fuel. The ship can switch back and forth. The methanol tank holds 14,300 cubic meters. That gives it a range of 15,000 nautical miles. enough to sail from Asia to Europe without refueling. When running on methanol, the ship barely pollutes. Sulfur oxide and particulate matter drop to almost zero. A new report says China's new type energy storage capacity will explode. By 2030, it will exceed 370 gigawatts. Last year alone, the country added 66 million kilowatts. That is a lot of batteries. By the end of 2025, total installed storage reached 136 million kilowatts. Why does this matter? Because solar and wind power are not steady. The sun does not always shine. The wind does not always blow. So you need a way to save that energy for later. That is what storage does. Experts say the average storage duration will hit nearly 3.5 hours by 2030. That opens the door for long-duration storage technologies.